I thought I saw you on one of the channels. Have you ever been on the Atheist Experience or Talk event? There's
That's like me opening up Harry Potter and then reading in the book. Well, Harry Potter is true because in the book it says that it's true.
okay. Let me tell
Answer
you
the
the
question.
reason why.
Answer the question. Don't dodge it. Do you believe the
No, no,
Jews?
no. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You make a lot of videos about religion and theism. I just want to know what side are you on? Are you like secular or are you theist? Or are you agnostics?
Are you talking about Pangburn channel or my personal channel? Because I'm a guest on Pangburn's channel.
I mean, it has to be the same thing. I mean, you have to share his views to be on the channel,
No,
right?
you actually don't, and that's one of the beautiful thing about the Pangburn Universe. The Pangburn Universe is a project that this Discord and Pangburn started about giving people who have good faith conversations a platform to explore their ideas, regardless of what they believe. So, but I can tell you what I think. Personally, I'm a Gnostic atheist regarding the Abrahamic God and an agnostic atheist regarding a deistic God. Um,
I thought I saw you on one of the channels. Have you ever been on there's a show in Austin, Texas called the Atheist Experience or Talk event. There's
no,
someone who,
I've never been on that show, but I no,
okay.
I've not. But you can talk to me about it. What is it you want to talk to me about?
What I want to talk to you about is like basically, if let's say there's a God, right?
Okay.
And you die, and if you believe in him, and it turns out that that was not real, there's basically nothing that you would lose. But if uh the, but if you never believed in him and you just die, and if there's like a judgment, you possibly have a risk of losing your eternal inheritance, right? So it's better to be a Christian and be wrong rather than be an atheist and be wrong.
Okay. Do you know who originally thought about this idea that you're talking about? That was
uh,
Pascal. Yeah, Pascal's wager. There's a few responses to Pascal's wager. I mean, the most obvious one is which God are you talking about? What if I believe in Allah, but I don't believe in
no,
Jesus?
no, no, I don't believe in Islam.
Yeah, I know. I'm not, but let's say Islam is true.
No,
But
it's not.
no,
It's ancient mythology.
but let's say Islam is true,
But
right?
there's no possible way where Islam could be true. We know
Well,
that it's
how
fiction.
how about Christianity?
Christianity is the only true religion.
Okay, now there are billions of people around the world who disagree with you. So in the same way that you and I disagree on the fact that Christianity is true, right? I don't believe Christianity is true, and you do believe Christianity is true. There are some people who believe that Islam is true and Christianity is false. And the debates here have been happening for a long time. Can't a Muslim say, "Well, let's say you die and you realize Allah was true. Why didn't you just not believe in Allah?" This is like the basic response to Pascal's wager. Why not just right
Yeah,
believe in the God? Because the question is, which God are you talking about?
I'm talking about Christ is God, right? So it's like in there's a scripture in First Timothy 3:15 where it says God was manifested in the flesh. So Christ is God.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you believe. Do you want to talk about Pascal's wager, or do you want to talk about?
Christianity specifically.
You want to talk
Why
about
do you think
Christianity?
Christianity is wrong? Were you a Christian at one point?
No, I was Orthodox Jewish in my
You were
teens.
Jewish, so
Yeah,
you were more close to Jesus then, because Jesus was a Jewish man.
sure. But I don't believe the Jewish Bible is. I think
But
it's
you
also
used to
mythology.
believe, but you used to be Jewish, right?
I am still Jewish. I used
And
to be. I'm a secular Jew because I think Judaism has an
but
ethnicity part, but I'm not religious now.
salvation was for the Jews first.
Yeah,
Romans
I would
chapter 1.
I would rather you don't preach and we just have a conversation.
Okay,
So
okay, let's have a conversation. Why do you think Christianity is false?
the
The
reason,
reason I think is true is
okay,
because Christ was resurrected from the dead.
okay.
There's what's you have to disprove Christianity to say that Christianity is false.
So I can take both positions. I can play the agnostic atheist where I say, well, how do you know that? What is your evidence? And then you'll quote me some passage in the Bible, right? and then we'll kind of get into and tell me if I'm going. You probably had these conversations before, and we're kind of going. We're going to go in a direction where you start telling me, oh, there's Josephus, and there's these testaments, and we're gonna have to start kind of talking about how do we even get to truth? What is reliable truth? That's one way we can talk about it. The other way we can talk about it is by falsifying the Old Testament, by disproving the foundation that Christianity is even built upon in the first place. And I think it's
Before we do that, can I
yeah,
say, like, I'm not, I was not even trying to preach. I'm really here desperate for conversation.
yeah, okay,
What the reason why I quote scriptures is you need proof. You need a
yes,
premise.
yeah. Scripture is not going to be
You
proof
have
to
to,
me.
yeah, yeah, but
You're gonna have to prove that Scripture is valid, right? I
But
can
but
quote whatever book I
but
want.
the
Doesn't
reason
mean I
why I
take it
quoted was
seriously.
not I'm trying to preach. It was just mostly
Okay,
when I talk to atheists, when I say like scripture says this and that, I'm just trying to let you know these are my beliefs. Now you could tell me why you disagree. So I was
okay,
basically giving you a premise. So you
okay.
have to know my,
So
and
sure.
first of all, there are thousands of denomination. I have to
I
specify
know,
what I
I
believe.
know.
So
I get
if
you.
if you say that there's a or a priest, a Catholic priest who rapes children, I really don't care because I'm not a Catholic.
Yeah, but
A
I wasn't gonna
Protestant.
talk. I wasn't gonna. So how about this? Why do you think the Bible is true? Why do you think I should take the Bible seriously?
Uh, I think it's in Second Timothy 3:13. All scriptures is God breathed and useful for instruction. So what I think is, like Jesus really believed that the scriptures were true. Luke 24:17 it says that you have to believe the
Okay,
words of the
let me.
prophets.
Can we just pause for a second?
What I believe is the
Do you
apostles'
know? One second.
doctrine.
One second. Do you know what circular reasoning is?
Yeah.
Do,
That's what you're using right now
no,
because
no,
you're
no.
using
Let me finish
humanism
speaking,
to
please.
actually disprove.
I
Okay.
you don't know if I'm a humanist or not. You don't know if I'm a transhumanist. You don't know what I am. Circular reasoning is when the or begging the question anyhow is when the conclusion when the conclusion is in the premise. So if I asked you what makes you think the Bible is true, and you
What I
quote
think
one
is
second, you're gonna have to let me finish.
okay.
If you're gonna quote the Bible to tell me that the Bible is true, that's a circular argument. That's a logical fallacy, right? It's like me telling you I know the Quran is true, and then I quote you the Quran. Well, I haven't. You have not shown me why the Bible, the Christian Bible, is true. Why I should even take it seriously. You haven't given me that yet. So for you to quote that as evidence for why the Christian Bible is true, that's a circular argument. Right? You're gonna have to give me something that's not you can't just quote the Bible at me because that's like me opening up Harry Potter and then reading in the book, well, Harry Potter is true because in the book it says that it's true. That's not how we figure out the truth of things. So you can't just quote at me the Bible as to why the Bible is true. Do you recognize that?
I recognize that, but also when I live my life, let's say, okay, let's get outside the Bible, right? So when I live
Okay.
my life, when I do certain things that are wrong, I get this conscious guilt, which proves to me that there's a God out there creating judgment down in my heart. So whenever I commit sin, whenever I do things that are, that's why I came back to. By the way, I used to be a skeptical. I was raised in.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't
Can
want.
I can I turn on the video? By the way,
Of course, so long as you're not naked, there's no penises.
what
Hey, dude, have you ever been
was
on
that a
Omegle?
joke?
Yeah, of course it's a joke. Of course it's a joke.
Okay, okay. So here's the thing. I was raised in
Okay.
a Mennonite background. I'm not a Mennonite right now, by the way. I'm Pentecostal, but
Yeah,
I'm a
but
Calvinist.
I don't want. I don't. We don't need to. We
Uh,
don't. I love you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I'm telling you how I came
Yeah.
to know that even outside the Bible, I was a skeptical. I said, I mean, I was not atheist like you, but I said, like, what if this is a wrong belief? And I went
Okay.
through a journey of doubting Christianity, doubting Christianity, doubting Christianity. But even when I left
So
Christianity, I could still have the conscious where I know what is true or false, what
sure.
is wrong or right, what
That
is sin or
yeah,
righteousness.
but you're saying that conscience, that notions of truthness and falseness about what is right and what is wrong, come from God. as opposed to coming from your mind, as opposed to things being born of your learning process and um, being around your community and having empathy. All of these other things are better explanations for how we have our morals and how we know and have intuitions about what is right and wrong. And the reason why they're better explanations, because scientists and psychologists can use these notions and predict human behavior. To just think about, oh, God is the reason for these beliefs or these feelings, doesn't give us any, doesn't help us at all deal with this problem. It simply tells us, oh, I plug in God into the equation and my gap is filled, right? It's called God of the gaps. I have an idea and I don't know where it comes from. I say it's from God and that checks the mark. That's not a reason to believe in God. That's saying I have emotions and I have feelings. Where do they come from? And just saying that comes from God doesn't answer. That's just I don't know, taking an aspirin when you have a brain hemorrhage. It doesn't actually deal with the problem. It's simply a solution without a substantiation. So like, why do you think that God is the only way to explain or the best way to explain where our morals come from?
Okay, why I think that is the way that I feel about things were very consistent with the New Testament. So, what I view as moral, what I even without believing in Christianity, even before I started believing, I went back to Christianity, right? So I had this conscious where I have to get this forgiveness, and when I study New Testament, it told me that there's a guy named Jesus who died for me. So I could just like, uh,
Well,
what I think
what
is,
if I read the Quran and it told me there's a guy named Muhammad, there's a guy named Allah? What if I read the Bhagavad Gita who told me there's
isn't that
Vishnu?
your right?
Of course, it's your right. I'm not
We
telling
could
you.
we could
I'm
believe
no,
as long
I'm
as
not
we're
telling
not
you.
harming. Okay, as
I'm
long
not
as
telling you
we're
what
not,
to believe. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm
as
simply
long as
asking
we're
for your
not.
justification, and your justification
Okay,
doesn't seem to um actually get you the conclusion. You're telling me it's like me if I ask a 10-year old why did you eat the ice cream and they tell me because I wanted to. That's a reason, but it's not a
yeah,
justification. Justify why it was okay for you. Why is it good
okay,
that you had the ice cream? Why did you break the rules of the house? Right? You can give me a reason, but that reason
okay.
isn't a justification. So, what's a
So
valid justification for thinking that God is proven by you having morals?
okay, so what state are you in, by the way? Let me just ask you.
I'm in New
Let me
York.
start. You're in New York. Okay. Oh, that will be a very bad example. I'm in Texas.
Okay.
So I don't know how um, lengthy it is. So there are a lot of people who are homeless, right? You're talking about capitalism and people making fun of. Why do you think that you feel compassion toward the people who are harmed? Whenever you see oppression, why do you think that uh, you
What?
feel
Why
such a
do I?
way?
Why do I think we have compassion? Well,
Yeah,
there are many explanations. One of them,
but it's still a
one
circular argument,
no,
right?
it's not. I'm not making a circular
It is
argument.
circular argument
No,
because
see,
you're
here
gonna
I'll tell you.
say that.
You see this beautiful kitty right here. See this beautiful cat, right? Look at this. Let's look at this beautiful cat. Okay, why do you think I have compassion for this cat? Do you think
I
it's
mean,
because?
I'm not a
Listen,
cat person,
let me
so I
tell you.
can't really
Let me
tell.
tell you. Why do you
I'm
think
more
this?
of a dog person.
I used to have my dogs my whole life. Why do you think I have
Okay.
compassion for this cat? And why do you think this cat has compassion for me? Did God put compassion in this cat's mind? Did it put compassion in my mind? Right? We have very naturalistic explanations for this, that we're a social creature, that we learn compassion from one another, that we have societal structures that make us maintain our compassion. And these explanations make a lot give us real pragmatic utility when we're exploring human behavior. Um, the God one doesn't do anything. It's just an explanation without any justification. So
You
don't shift the burden of proof and tell me that I have to give you a justification. You have to give me a justification. I can give you a bunch that are backed up by scientific sources, but you're the one here making the claim that it is God, that morality justifies the existence of God. And you're going to have to show that. I'm not going to let you move away from that point. You
okay?
have to show me how morality justifies the existence of God.
why I think that is because even if people never believed in Christian God, people have different views on religion, different takes on politics, right? Uh, we seem to have a very constant pattern of what we think that is right or wrong. So it seems like there has to be a person who wrote those things on our heart or mind. So if I took your worldview and I said that like there is no deity, is everything, there's no explanation, which is like supernatural, that wouldn't make any sense.
Of
So
course,
I
it
think
would make more sense than
it,
yours because people disagree. People disagree on what is right and what is wrong. People don't have the same morals and values etched on their heart. If it was true, what you're saying, we would see that people would across the world all agree on what is right and wrong, but they don't. They disagree
so,
so much. They disagree so much they go to war for it. Your explanation is that everywhere, all around the
someone.
world, people have to be tempted by some sort of devils or some sort of like demons, or they're corrupted because they refuse to see God. Well, my explanation recognizes that human beings are different and develop moral codes differently, and it's not and it's not written on our hearts by God, but rather we created it and we make it, and that makes a lot more sense when we look at reality. It is your position that puts you into a place that you can't make sense of reality anymore, not my position.
Okay, someone commented saying that he defends slavery. I never defended slavery. I don't
Don't
know
worry about the
what you're
comments. You're
saying.
talking with me. Don't worry about the comments.
Okay, you
And by the
said
way, we only
something very interesting.
unfortunately we also only have about 5 minutes, but we can
Okay,
continue the show another
you
time. So
you said that you could disprove the Old Testament. How could you disprove the Old Testament? Let's
it's
start
very
off.
simple. When we
Okay.
think of disproving anything, we're talking about not just falsifying it, but showing otherwise, right? So showing the contrary. If I tell you that a vase, we both have a different room in our house. You hear something break and fall there, and I say, "Oh, a ghost did it," and you say, "A ghost didn't do it." If I can't prove it's a ghost, then you're agnostic about the fact that a ghost put it. You don't believe me. But if we have security footage that it was a cat that dropped the vase over, now I know for sure it's not a ghost. Would you agree with that statement?
Uh, I'm not
I
sure
prove.
where
Okay,
you're going with this, but okay, let me
right.
agree.
Look, I want it to make sense. In the room next to you, there's a table with a vase on it with flowers, and it falls and breaks. I tell you it's a ghost, and you go, and you don't know if it's a ghost or not. So you go, I don't know what it is. I don't believe you that it's a ghost, but I don't know that it's not a ghost. I haven't disproved that it's a ghost. You, Don, me, just hasn't proved that it is a ghost. But you also have a video camera, and when you check on the video camera, you see that it was a cat. Now you have disproved that it was a ghost. You know for sure that it's not a ghost because you have evidence that it's a cat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so the Old Testament makes specific claims about how the world was created, claims about a flood, claims about the tribes of Israel, claims about Exodus. It says that God gave Moses rocks on the mountain. And when we look at the archaeological evidence, what we end up finding isn't that God did these things, but that there were idols and that there wasn't a worldwide flood and that the earth is billions of years old. We have the other thing. We have evidence of the cat dropping the vase. And that's how I know that the Old Testament is false.
Okay, what about you said the Old Testament is false. Okay,
Yeah.
even if we agree to that, you still did not disprove the doctrine what I believe, which is the apostles' doctrine. Now
Of
you
course
need
I
to
did.
disprove
Of course
the
I
New
did.
Testament.
Bro, no, of course don't play that game. You
Okay.
know, and you know that if I take
No, no, no.
a
I
if I,
believe in the
no,
Old
if
Testament. I
if
believe in
I
the Old
if
Testament. What
yeah
I'm
if I
saying is,
bro if I take a
if we could
tank,
agree on that premise.
if I chop the base of the tree, the
Okay.
branches can't stand. The Old Testament is the base for the New Testament.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no,
If I
no.
can falsify
I
the Old
agree.
Testament, okay, so don't so
No, no, no.
address what I'm
I'm
saying.
just playing the devil's advocate. What I'm saying is like, what I am saying is, I believe in the Old Testament. First of all, what I'm saying is, what if someone says that, like, let's say that, okay, we agree on the premise. but we still have 27 books left on the menu. So you still have to disprove that Christ never rose from the dead, because that's the dogma of Christianity. Christianity's dogma is not God created the heavens and the earth in 7 days. You have to disprove that Christ never rose from the dead.
Do you believe that Noah, that God flooded the world?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
because it's
I
not
can
true.
easily disprove that and show otherwise that he didn't. Do you believe that the Jews had exited Egypt and had an exodus?
Okay, let me tell
Answer the
you the
question.
reason why.
Answer the question. Don't dodge it. Do you believe the
No, no,
Jews
no.
exit? Answer the
I'm giving
question.
you a yes answer.
Okay, give me another.
But let me
Let
tell
me
you
do
the
another
reason
question.
why.
Let me do another.
Okay.
I'm proving my point. Let me do another question. Do you believe that the Bible was revealed at Mount Sinai to the Jews?
No, it was revealed to Moses by the angels.
Do you believe that the Bible was revealed to Moses by the angels at Mount Sinai?
Yeah, Acts chapter
Okay,
7, verse 58.
the evidence shows that the Bible was written 500 BCE by King
So,
Josiah and was put together. That's what the evidence shows. That is the video camera of the cat dropping the vase.
no,
If you're not
no.
gonna contend with that, I'm gonna have to let you go and move on to Mace.
I mean, you just proved nothing, but I don't know why
I did
you
not
think
just
you
prove
made a
nothing.
point.
I laid out my argument. You're gonna have to contend with what I said, and not just move on and not just ignore it as if it never was said. That
No,
disproves the claims that you just said. I have evidence disproving that there was a worldwide flood, that the and the angels revealed the Torah to Moses at Mount Sinai. And you're just
yeah, but
if you're gonna ignore that, I'm not gonna be able to continue talking with you.
okay, but I could still chat with you another day, right?
Of course, 100%. You can even join
Okay.
the Discord. The Discord link is
Can
in
I
the
say
chat.
thank you?
Of
Can I say
course,
you just thank you? Okay.
of course.
Well, thank you, because I know that you don't have a lot of times and stuff, but I would just like to say that I didn't come here to proselytize and preach. I don't know why you
That's
feel
fine.
that way, and I'm really sorry. It's the
No, no,
way that
no.
I
I was just
could.
saying because I didn't want you to just start quoting the Bible at me. That's what I
But
meant.
you just tell me what I believe. What I believe is in the Bible.
You do believe in the Bible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you
So
corrected me that
that's
you
why.
don't believe that God gave the Jews the Torah. You believe the angels revealed it to Moses, and I corrected my statements. So
Okay. Thank you so much.
no problem. We can have a conversation another time for sure.
Okay. Bye bye.
Ah, very good guy. Very good guy. Just you gotta actually contend with what I'm talking about.